farmers market time. We're so excited because last year there was hardly any vendors open because of the pandemic. We're excited to see what we can find this year. Hey guys, I'm on my way to Hypnosis. Did we all forget that I was doing that? You're usually supposed to do 10 weeks in a row. You know, that's what he said in the beginning, just to kind of get the most out of it. But with him being sick and me being gone for literally ever, you have to just do what you have to do. So I'm back on that journey today. I can't wait to share it with you. It'll be Mondays again from now on. I think I have 8 sessions left. Today will be my 3rd. So it'll be interesting to see. You never know what comes up in hypnosis. Like, we spend, I would say, 30 minutes talking about whatever might be new in my life or concerning, and then he'll base the hypnosis off of what he thinks might benefit me. And this originally, again, this is for my panic attacks and anxiety. So I am on my way, and he just texted me because I'm always so punctual. Like, that's my thing. He texted me, he's like, "Hey Zoe, I'm ready for you when you're here, come into my office." And I was like, well, obviously, but then I got to thinking, I'm always 20 minutes early. Like, I think it's rude if you're like literally on time, or if you're walking late, you might as well like get your life together and refigure things out, because you're wasting other people's time. Their time is just as valuable, and whatever. Anyway, but with Bo being home these past 6 weeks, he's not really like that. Like, he's on time, but he doesn't really worry about being early. And I like get anxious. Like, I'm like, like my like foot starts tapping, and then inside I just like, my heart's beating, because it's just my biggest pet peeve. If you are late or even 10 minutes early, don't bother. Just like figure it out. I mean, I understand sometimes things happen, but things don't always need to happen. You need to not waste other people's time. It's the biggest pet peeve. Anyway, so you probably thought I was there, but I'll be there again. Here, take my own advice. I'll be 5 minutes early. So I should have left a little bit sooner, but with us being gone for so long, like, we were traveling everywhere, and then we were home for 2 days, but the kids still had like 2 days of school. And so I was like trying to kind of do some laundry, because we were going camping the next week with the kids, and then doing the school stuff, and just like trying to take a breather from all the traveling, and get our medicines and just like everything in order, and shop for camping. We didn't leave it in the best condition because we're just constantly going. Then we were gone for a week camping. You have so much crap when you camp, And then this weekend, Bo and I went to the farmer's market. Oh yes, I had that surprise. I didn't share that with you. So we went to the farmer's market first, and I messaged him that day that I wrote the last video. I said I had a surprise. If you don't let me in. Oh, you're not coming in. No. My turn. My right away. Watch yourself. Jeez, people are so like, the guy behind me is like on my butt, and then this person was gonna sideswipe me. Not today, honey. I gotta get to hypnosis. Anyway. Ooh. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I had a surprise. Bo usually can figure out all surprises and whatever, but when I was getting my nails done, I was sitting there thinking, oh, it'd be really nice to treat him to something, So I was like, let's do a couples massage, and I booked it, and he didn't figure it out. And we went and did that Saturday. A new place. The really, really good places that I like were full. And, at short notice, you're lucky to get anything, especially a couples massage, or like a massage at all, honestly. So we went. It was a lower budget, but it was really nice, something to do. I always get these big bouquets of flowers at the farmer's market. Bo likes to get, first of all, they're like 10 or 12 bucks. And if you got them at the florist, I almost went the wrong way. They'd be like 150. I'll have to show you guys. They did sit in my car though overnight, because by the time we were done with our massage, then we went out for a little while. and I forgot them in the car. So a little wilted, but they'll perk back up. And then yesterday we watched, I kind of got suckered in. I was watching Trisha Paytas, the Frenemy stuff. I love that kind of thing. Well, I don't love H3. I mean, I think he's great. It's not my style for podcasts. But Trisha Paytas, I love Trisha Paytas. So I was watching, like, Trisha had that whole thing where she left Frenemies or whatever else. So I was watching that, and then Bo was like, hey, do you want to watch Dirty John? It's supposed to be based off of true stories. So the first season of Dirty John is, like, really good. It's a little slow, but it, like, gets really good. And then the second season, it was so darn slow, and then we were 3 episodes in, and they're, like, 45 minutes long. So it was like, oh my God, we just finished it. Like, by the end, we were like, oh my God, how many more episodes? It was terrible. And by the end of that season, I still didn't really get it. It was poorly made. The way they jumped back and forth between, like, the past and the present was terrible. And then the end really threw you for a loop. And it's supposed to be based on a true story, so it shouldn't be like that. I don't know. If you've watched it, tell me in the comments what you thought of it. Dirty John is just like, I don't know. Don't bother with the second season, okay? It's just really not worth it. It's not worth 6 hours of your time. Okay. Excuse me, coming through. Okay. Cool. We going. Come on, Zoya. Let's shave another minute off of this clock. Going the speed limit. I'm always, like, a little bit under. Makes me nervous. I think we'll be good now. You have to be punctual or you will never be successful. If you are not punctual, you will never be successful. And that's the truth. Show up. Yep, this is it. Yes, right? Oh, no. Okay. Here's my road rage kicking in. Hurry up, beep, beep. There's literally no reason to go 2 miles an hour here, okay? We all have places to go, honey. Should have been a NASCAR driver. Oh my God, could you imagine with my anxiety? I'd have a heart attack and die, like, before even getting in the car. I have terrible road rage. I'm not proud of it. But it's like me, like, I'm not, like, mean to traffic. That video you seen was very respectful, and you need to know the circumstances before making any comments. Like, watch the YouTube video too. But I am very, very, very respectful, but I just swear in my car, and usually I'm by myself, so I'm like, you beep, 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 beep. Nobody can hear me, nobody cares. But for some reason, can anyone else relate? It helps. It makes you feel better because you have to, like, get it out. And sometimes I'm wrong, you know, and then I'm like so thankful nobody could hear me because they're like so stupid. Okay. Oh, these roundabouts. Why? Who on God's green earth thought these roundabouts would be so freaking great? I wonder how many accidents they've had here. Just like, I don't know, because not everybody's paying attention. There's a bunch of different lanes. And it's always like Karen's, and what is the male, like, name for Karen? I've always wondered. I've heard people say it's like Kyle. I've heard other people say, like Kevin. Like, what is the male name, like the male version of a Karen? That's such a good question. Like, I feel like Karen is just so obvious, you know? And I feel bad for people who are actually named Karen that are not, like, Karens, you know? But what is the male name? So many things I wonder. So many, like, stupid things. I'll be sitting and doing something, and then something dumb will come into my mind. You know? I don't know. Anyone else? Just me. I think we are in the clear. I'm not riding those damn things around. I think my first problem on the first exit was there's nowhere to turn. In order to get on the exit, I had to ride it all the way through. Stupid. And then I got a bunch of errands. We have a bearded dragon named Draco. It's London's baby. And he needs a bigger tank. So I got to go get that today. I have some shit I got to do to get notarized for stuff. I got to do that. And then I gotta clean and do laundry and get our lives together because we've been everything's just everywhere. I gotta get doctor's appointments and dentist appointments going, all the fun, crazy adulting. So I'm gonna let you guys go for now, and I will check back in with you after my hypnosis because this will probably be kind of a long video. So, all right, I'm excited, you guys. Hopefully I make it in time for your. Hey guys, so it is the next day. Usually when I'm done with my hypnosis, I will talk to you about everything in my car, but yesterday was so busy. I had so much to do, and Bo was still home from work, so we had some errands we wanted to run. We got Draco a new cage and everything, which you'll see in the next vlog, which is so much fun. Okay, so I want to just say that this hypnosis experience was, first of all, 2 hours long, which I was so grateful for because usually you only get an hour, and he had me under hypnosis for a full hour and we talked for a full hour. So he gave me that free hour, which was so nice of him because it has been over like almost 2 months since I had seen him. So we had a lot of catching up to do. Again, you're supposed to do those 10 sessions consecutively just to make sure your process is actually going forward. You don't have to kind of go back to go forward again, which is a lot of times what therapy will do if you go too far between therapy sessions. So we talked about all of my current events and everything that's going on in my life. Again, I stated my panic disorder, my chronic panic disorder, which continues to be a problem to this day, and just my anxieties. And he wanted to go a little bit further into what triggers my anxiety, the different things that happen. And a lot of aha moments came up when he asked me certain questions. And it's funny because, you know, when you have a panic attack, you try to think about your triggers right before. And a lot of the times you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. That usually wouldn't bother me. And then the certain questions he asked, and then when we went through hypnosis, a lot of it made more sense. So the title of this video, I know probably seems absolutely crazy, and a lot of people would think, oh my God, that's so personal. Why would you write that? Again, this is my online diary. It is my channel, and I have the right to say and do what I want. However, that being said, I need to kind of clear a few things up before I get into this because I feel it is necessary, because I'm sure feelings will be hurt, especially with the title the way it is. But just to clear the air here, my mother and I do not have a relationship currently. We go back and forth the last, I'd say, and I could be wrong exactly, but 4 or 5 years, we've hardly seen each other. When we do, there's a lot of tension when we talk about personal things. I have a lot of resentment still in my heart, which I do not want to harbor any longer, for a lot of the past experiences that she has put me through personally, as well as not understanding why she cannot own up to those. I think if she could own up to those, there would have been a chance for a relationship, but it's so far gone now. That being said, my mother worked very, very, very hard to go back from being a hairstylist to school for nursing, and was an independent nurse and made buku bucks. Buku bucks independently as a nurse got us out of, I mean, unless you own your own business, haircutters really don't make that much money at all. And we were a larger family, a family of 4. So my stepdad really wasn't working very much, and he did odd jobs in construction. He was just a piece of poop. So my mom really took the bull by the horns, went back to school. It was very tough for her, and got us out of that situation. And then after about elementary school, mid-elementary school, we were very well off. We went from poor to wealthy. And my mom worked very, very hard to get us there. So I'm very appreciative of that. I thank her so much for that. We did have anything we wanted as a child. We were very spoiled. But the one thing we didn't have, which I think is the most important thing a mother can give, is time and understanding and a relationship of a mother. I don't really remember too many times she played with me, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to get too much into that. So I want to say that I'm very appreciative of all the things that she did, all the things we had, the experiences we got to have, but the lack of personal relationship is what matters most to me, not the money. and we're going to get into that. Okay, so I just want to start by saying, again, I appreciate everything she's done, and I know she loves me in her own way. Okay, now we're going to get into it. So we're sitting there and we're discussing a lot of the stressors in my current life, which are things that I still need to work through. And we're talking about my triggers for my panic attacks. And he's like, okay, we're going to do a totally different hypnosis. We're going to go deep, way deep into the womb, okay? We're going to go all the way back. And for a lot of you spiritual skeptics, I'm sure you're like, oh my God, that sounds so crazy. That is your own opinion. I actually have been under hypnosis before, where I have gone under. I was able to do it the first time, so I knew I needed to really focus. The thing with hypnosis is a lot of times your mind is very, very busy. So even though you're listening and you're focusing, then you have a thought of, oh my God, I need to run this errand after work, or I need to call the dentist, or wonder what the kids are doing, or, Bo might have texted me. Like, you have to block it out. And it's okay during hypnosis if those things pop into your mind. You just let them go, relax, and focus on the sound of his voice. And for a lot of people who can't quiet their mind enough or focus, you have to be very emotionally tough to block things out. A lot of time, people who meditate can do hypnosis better because they're used to training the mind to quiet itself, to focus on one thing and block out everything else. It's very tough, but I can do that. So we started the hypnosis looking into a fire. It's a great experience. I'm staring into this TV screen and very comfortable in the chair, and the lights are turned low, and his voice is very soothing. So you're relaxed. There's essential oils going and candles, and it's just very peaceful. So I'm staring into this fire, and he has me focusing on the fire, looking at it, describing it, and all of a sudden my eyes get really heavy. It's harder and harder to open, as if they would be being in front of a fire. As you get tired, or as you stare into it, your eyes get dry, whatever. So then he counts back, and I close my eyes, and he wanted me to visualize my childhood. Visualize yourself at 12, at 10, at 8, at 7, at 6, whatever. So I'm going in just on happy things, focus on happy memories. And the memories I thought of were memories at my grandparents' house. So I was adopted at 3, and the family was very good to me. My grandparents on that side, my adopted side, were very good to me. They had us a lot of the time while my mom was working or going to school or whatever she was doing. And they were great to us as kids. They really were the glue to the family, and I loved spending time there. On top of that, my grandma, who is my best, she's actually right there, God rest her soul, she's been dead 12 years. She to me was my mother. And even though she's been gone that long, the relationship I had with her, you have to understand through this hypnosis journey, I will talk about my grandma a lot. She was my rock. She was the only person on this planet, still to this day, to show me unconditional love. She never yelled. She never called names to me personally. All around love, support, understanding. She would go the extra mile. She was my rock. She still is my rock. And a lot of my journey is that I know she's trying to contact me. So I went into hypnosis saying, okay, I know my grandma, there's signs from when she was alive that she said she would do, and I'm noticing them. And you have to be open spiritually to have those experiences, right? And then my chronic panic disorder, which is a very, very big issue. So today we're focusing on my anxiety again. So I'm thinking of my grandma's house, this one here, and this is my mother's mother. I was over there weekends, summers. She came and rescued me from many situations my stepdad put us through. Grounding, unnecessary lengths of time. My mom would ground me for really petty things and really torturous things. My grandma was just there for me, okay? And I'm thinking of those things. Then he's like, because I have gone through a lot of trauma, and I think I got through a little bit of this in my first hypnosis journey, and this is total truth and understanding. Again, this is my online diary. I need you guys to understand that I don't have to do this clearly. I'm doing this to be open and vulnerable, not only for myself to get it out, which I think is good. A lot of people have a diary. A lot of people go see a therapist. Because I'm a psychologist, I just could never. I'd end up diagnosing the psychologist. I'd just be like dumb, or analyzing, I mean. So this was my best route for this. And I'm vulnerable and open on here. So even if you don't like me or whatever, I think it's admirable that I'm sharing. Also, if I can help one other person going through this, it's worth it, right? So I think we all need to uplift each other instead of tear each other down, and have an open mind, okay? You don't know what someone's going through, so don't be a piece of shit person. I'm always saying that. Okay. So I've had a lot of traumas, a lot of sexual things that have happened to me as a child, a lot of things that have happened as an adult, not only sexually related, but a lot of physical abuse, a lot of mental abuse, car accidents, horse accidents, things that have almost killed me, misdiagnoses in the hospital that traumatized me, saying I was gonna die, just crazy things, okay? Also, I feel like because of all those things, I'm holding it together really well. But usually when there's a lot of trauma, you have some type of, mental illness, which I have chronic panic disorder. That is the only thing that I have. I have a little bit of borderline like depression, just like seasonal depression in the winter when it's gloomy, when Christmas is over and you're like, okay, where's the sun? I have a little bit of that as well. So just to give you that little background about me. So he's like, I want you to focus on a time now that maybe is buried deeper as a child, or maybe something you're going through now that maybe you have suppressed and you don't really understand a lot of it, and it bothers you though. Focus on a trauma, something that just the first thing that pops into your mind. And so something popped up into my mind from my childhood. And this personal experience, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think you'll get the general idea. But again, trigger warning, if you're a child, don't watch this. If you are triggered by sexual assault in any manner, don't watch this. But I was probably about, I'd say, 6 or 7, maybe 8 years old, but definitely in that age bracket. We were living in an apartment complex. This is, again, my sister was just born and we were living in this place. So I knew I'm 5.5 years older than my sister. So it had to have been around that time. So my mom was friends with one of the ladies in the complex, and she had a son, and I can't remember his name or who they were really. I just know they were kind of trashy people because they were dirty, and that's how I felt personally at that time. That's not nice, but that's my recollection as a child, that's how they were. His name was Jimmy. It just came to me. His name was Jimmy. I couldn't remember for the longest time. His name was Jimmy. Anyway, he had been about 10, 12 years old at the time. My mom and his mom went into their apartment complex, and Jimmy and I were told to go outside and play. Beautiful sunny day, spring, summer, I'm not sure exactly. I remember what he was wearing perfectly, t-shirt, shorts. He had brown hair, brown eyes. I'll never forget. And we were playing on the swings and then running. And where the complex was, there's like a little hill, and then there was wouldn't call it a pasture, but just like a bunch of grass. And the highway was way down, or the road was way, way down. And then there were a tree line. So it was pretty, pretty private besides the complex. If you were outside, nobody would see you unless somebody else was outside. So he had asked me to lay down so he could do something to me, okay? And I didn't really understand it at the time, and I just was like, okay, a lot of it isn't clear in my mind, but he did something to me, okay? And it was quick, and then he said, don't tell my mom or whatever, and I didn't really understand what was going on, so I got up and I ran, okay? I had never seen it, then I never seen him again. I don't know if he got scared or whatever, but even though I didn't understand that, now that I remember that, being an adult, it's very traumatic. So I felt shame, I felt disgusting. I didn't understand why anybody would want to do that. I've never heard of anybody doing that. Obviously, I'd never experienced that before. And I didn't tell my mom because and I don't know why I didn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell you as a child why. I can't tell you as an adult why I didn't tell her. But I think one of my coping mechanisms is to suppress, and that's actually very common. in people who have been assaulted to suppress it and move on because they just can't handle it in the moment. And then, of course, you have triggers and traumas and panic and anxiety and stuff even decades later. So whatever, in my hypnosis, was telling him about it, and I just started crying. I was very emotional. Again, I'm under hypnosis, and I'm just like bawling my eyes out, and he had me focus on his face, describe what he looked like, described his eye. Like, I had to get very personal in my hypnosis about this, looking at this boy. And he's like, stare in his eyes and understand that he was young, a child, and he obviously went through a lot of trauma himself to be doing something like that. Can you even imagine the things he might have seen? And those are things that I've never thought about. I've always thought about, oh my God, that happened to me, how terrible. Again, this boy was a kid, and not that it makes it okay by any means, never okay, obviously, but he just tried to broaden my understanding of the whole situation, that he obviously must have been some kind of victim or seen some things he shouldn't have. And then he said some more things, more phrases, and we talked about forgiveness and letting go, because I don't need to hold on to the burden of what has happened to me. I didn't do anything wrong. It's not my burden to hold on to any longer in my life. I paid the price, and to forgive. And if I was able to forgive and feel it in my heart, nod, and it took me a little bit, and I had to wait and kind of ponder on the memory for a little bit, and all of that shame and the hurt and the anger and the resentment towards not only him, but my mother for putting me in that situation. I know she didn't know I was in that situation, but you don't send your kid out with some older kid you don't know, especially after some of the things that were happened when I was a baby, or 2-3 years old. You think she would have been more protective of me. We'll get into that another time maybe. Anyway, I was able to forgive. So all those feelings that I felt just lifted. I felt light as a feather. I felt calm and peaceful. And now when I think about that memory right now, those feelings are gone. The shame, the hurt, the resentment, all of that is gone. I no longer carry that burden. And I kind of was happy to make this video for you guys now, today after, because I was like, okay, yeah, I felt that in the moment, and it was great, and it was like, oh, it's lifted. But will I still feel like that? Is this really going to help me in the future, not just this moment? So it's kind of testing, because we did a lot of things throughout the hypnosis to really make those feelings deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we went on, we got deeper and deeper and deeper into hypnosis. So I spent a lot of time really harboring those new feelings into that deep level of hypnosis. And I'm telling you, at least to this day, that those hard feelings that have been such a burden to me are gone from that particular experience. Okay. So then he's like, okay, we're gonna go back to a good memory, and we kind of went deeper and deeper and deeper. And as we're going deeper, I'm visualizing, and your mind picks, what you think of in the moment. Because at first you start with the fire, but as you're going deeper and you're getting calmer, and you feel heavy, you feel like a stone, but you can get up and walk away. It's not scary or anything. But I picture myself like right under the ocean, right? You still see the sun. It's a beautiful day. It's gentle waves, blue water, nothing's around you to scare you. And you're just going deeper and deeper and deeper, but you feel peaceful and you feel calm, and your breathing slows. And it's just like, that's just where my mind took me as we went deeper. And he's like, remember being 3, remember being 2. And I don't have a big recollection of those times. I remember 3-year-old preschool. I don't remember being 2, obviously, but it just kind of takes you through, like, I've seen pictures of myself at 2. I know what kind of family was around me at that time. And then he brought me into the womb, right? So I'm at my deepest level of hypnosis. Now, for all you skeptics, you're like, oh my God, yeah, right. But until you do it and you can actually do it, then you cannot judge unless you can, first of all, do it. And second of all, be open to it and whatever else. So anyway, I remember in this moment, I could feel myself being obviously confined, and which was really weird because I was in the ocean, and then all of a sudden I felt combined. and or confined, duh. And then I remember feeling anxious, and I remember feeling tense and never comfortable and never peaceful. And he's like, now where did you get those feelings from? And well, I was like, well, I feel it in my core. And he's like, no, where did you get those feelings from? You feel it in your core in the womb, but why would you feel anxiety? I'm like, well, I must feel it because my mother is feeling it. My mother is one of the most anxious people on the planet, and I do sympathize with her because I definitely suffer from that as well. But my mom was very young when she had me, 19, I believe, and my situation with my dad was weird. He was quite a bit older, just whatever. So she lived with my grandmother, who is my rock again, and her life was pretty stressful, you know? So I realized that I was kind of raised to be anxious, even from infancy, which I totally understand. So then we're talking about, we talked about my estranged relationship with my mother. And in hypnosis, he wanted me to visualize my mom, what she looked like, describe her hair, her eyes, what she might be wearing, what she might smell like, and look at her in my mind and scream out all the things I want to say that have never been heard before, like actually heard. I've said them, but they've never been heard. There's a difference between hearing and listening. And get it all out and take some time to just say what you need to say for your peace of mind, for your soul, for your core, and see if there's a chance that you can say them, and then look her in the eye and tell her that you, even though there might not be a chance for reconciliation, and maybe there would be, but at this current time you don't feel that way, see if you can forgive and let go of those memories. Well, not necessarily the memories, but the feelings of resentment, of pain, of suffering, and let them be lifted from you, because your mom's not carrying those burdens for you. You are carrying those burdens for you, and you don't need to carry them. You need to let them go. And I'm crying, and it's just kind of like, I was able to let them go. And this one is a little bit harder than the first one, because my mother is my mother, right? Everybody wants to have such a great relationship with their mother, and it should be that way in a perfect world. But my mother just put me and essentially my sister in some terrible situations that technically she didn't know she was doing, but she must have known, because she knew how terrible my stepdad was. And leaving us there and going out, or bringing me along for certain things she should have never brought me along for. Just the crazy shit. There was one time where I didn't even want to live anymore because I couldn't handle her. I tried to report the abuse in the home when I was young, and even though I went to report it, I was reprimanded very heavily at home, and just a lot of trauma. So here we are letting things go, right? I just want to give you like a little, it's not just like, oh, my mom grounded me too much or whatever. There was some serious physical abuse, mental abuse, and a lot of very hurtful words when I no longer wanted to live. And those are the certain things I can't get past. I also, when I bring them up to her, she will no longer, or she will never admit them. She will say it never happened that way. And even though I know and many other people know that they happened that way, she can't maybe understand it in her mind, accept it, because she doesn't want to view herself as that person. And she's in her mind, she sees, oh my God, I gave you guys everything. We had so much money, blah, 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 blah. You were spoiled rotten. I was the best mother. And she values physical things very much. And yes, in that aspect, she was very good to us. But there were so many things. There's so much more than money. There's so much more than money. And so she doesn't have that side of her and I know that, and she's very incapable of owning up to those things, and until she does, I can't deal with it, because life, for me, that's how I could deal with it. She just won't admit things because I don't think she wants her current husband to view her that way or hear those stories. And even if it was just a private thing between the two of us, she will never admit certain things happened, even though we know they did, and everyone around us knew they did, and whatever. So now I understand that it's not, poor me, I don't have a mother. And he helped me realize this. Poor me, I've never really had a mother besides my grandmother there, who to this day I consider my mother. She's the only one who really did much for me emotionally. She did so much more than that too. She was just the perfect person you can imagine. Tough as nails. And I adored her to death. She's still alive to me today. But he helped me realize, my hypnosis, my life coach helped me realize that even though it's not poor me, I don't have a mother to this day. And I feel the most sorry for my children, actually, because they don't have a grandmother. You know, my grandparents are gone, both sets of them. And Bo's grandparents are wonderful, but, you know, it's not quite the same. And I feel the most sorry because I had the best sets of grandparents. But that being said, it's what I don't want to be. I am learning from my mother. I have learned, I am learning, and I need to constantly keep that in mind, that she is a perfect example, and I can be thankful for terrible experiences to make me stronger and a better person, to not be that way to my children. And I do believe I'm doing a good job. I'm not perfect, but I do believe in my heart of hearts, you know, my kids have never, I've never physically abused my children. There's never ever been any type of situation with any kind of bringing them to the wrong places like my mom did. Like nothing crazy like that. Nothing. My mom brought me to prison once to see an old, just terrible shit. Terrible shit. And especially the situations she put me through at home, when I was feeling suicidal at a young age at 16, I think it was 15 or 16, and her thinking I was doing it to her and not ever really addressing how I felt and what was going on with me for me to feel that way. It was, I can't believe you did this to me. Oh my God, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. How could you do this to me? Go back to bed. And I was just like, you know, and my stepdad brought me to the hospital, and it was a hard time. It was a very hard time. I have never been able to get rid of those feelings, that hurt, that resentment, that pain and suffering. Can you even imagine what that would be like? And maybe some of you guys do know what that's like. But for your own mother, your own flesh and blood, to just be that way is beyond. And I'm so thankful that I'm had those experiences, as terrible and weird as that sounds, because it has shown me to be tough and to not take shit and to learn and be better and to be a better mother. And I've always been very hands-on with my kids. That being said, I'm not perfect. I have a long ways to go, and this chronic panic disorder is currently really affecting my day-to-day life, although I do try to make the most of it, and that's where social media comes in. I love to make TikToks and do stuff. And sometimes it's at face value. Nobody really knows me, but I'm trying to give you guys a better chance to get to know me on YouTube if you care to at all, and get a little bit deeper into maybe who I am as a person and why I do the things I do, and just be open and share. And if I can help somebody, I can help somebody. So while I was under hypnosis and I came back after having to really think about, I deserve it. I deserve to let things go. I deserve to be happy. I am worthy. I am not the things my mother called me. I will no longer take shit. And he's like, fuck no, you will not take shit. And say that in my mind, and say that in your mind like a gun going off, like a rifle, like a sniper rifle. You know how they shoot real fast, clearly. You know, say that 1,000,000 times as fast as you can in your head. Fuck no, I won't take any more shit. I won't be walked on. I will be stronger. I am better. I'm worthy. I am smart, all those things. And I feel like when you go through a lot of trauma, your self-confidence breaks down, your self-image breaks down, you get depression, you get anxious, and the world isn't as much of a beautiful place as it really should be, as it truly is. Even though we all have things we go through, it's about how you handle them, and I constantly need to remind myself. So now anytime I think of my mother or things like that, I need to retrain my brain to say, okay, that happened to me, and I'm so thankful for that, because this is how I'm not going to be. Now, again, I want to end it by saying she tried her best, I believe. A little bit of that is sad for me, because I feel like you should be so much better, but in her mind and in her, if she were to tell the story differently, she would say she was the best, and none of those things happened or didn't happen that way, even though we all know, especially if we're like deep-rooted family, that certain things did come up, and a lot of things did happen, and I would be the only person to discuss them. Now that's what disgusts me. So that was my hypnosis journey. On that note, though, that I was just speaking of, I want to say I think it's absolutely disgusting. And I've seen this not only in my family that I just spoke of, but in families of people that I'm close to currently. It is disgusting and disrespectful and rude, not only to yourself, it's disrespectful to yourself to be in denial of the behaviors of people and to pretend like everything is fine. It is absolutely disgusting to do to yourself, and I'm guilty of it myself too. Like in the examples of my mom and everything. When you go through trauma and you are treated a certain way by a certain person or people, it's terrible to be in denial and to not get down to the root problem, because you're only prolonging the issue. And it's terrible to show those around you that that type of behavior is okay, and to not learn from it or to push it under the rug. So my family, other people in my family have pushed certain problems that actually happened that were admitted to under the rug and continue to act like nothing happened. You would never know at face value that anything happened because everybody's so fake. I am the only person who is willing to openly discuss it. I don't know if it has to do with my background in psychology, the fact that I worked for a crisis women's center back in the day, that I was a therapist there. I don't know if it's because this is a different generation, but I don't think that's the case, because even people of my generation still push it under the rug and allow people that have been very abusive to currently, with certain things that have been admitted, to still be around young children. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. It's disgusting. And for other families that aren't talking about it and not helping the person that things have happened to, and to push their feelings out there under the rug, or to say things didn't happen to them, even if it isn't a terrible, terrible trauma, you don't know how bad someone feels about something. We're all different people. So if someone was hit, slapped across the face, and feels like it was the worst thing that ever happened to them, you can't tell them that's not how they feel. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, you're fine. Because that is how that person feels. And you are nobody to tell that person how to feel, ever. You can control yourself and yourself only, and your feelings only. You will never, ever, ever be able to change somebody else. You can try to give them the tools to help themselves, but they have to want to help themselves. You will not change them as much as you think you can. And you're oftentimes a magnet for people like that. If you're loving, kind, caring, empathetic, big-hearted, naive, they will swarm to you, use you up, spit you out, and continue to be the same way and try to get the attention, the poor me, the victim personality. And I have seen that so much in my lifetime, it makes me want to vomit. So if you think and you see me in public, and I'm not the most friendly, I'm not mean by any means, but like if you were to approach me and you don't know me, you see me, I'm in my own zone. I really am not really seeing people. Like I know people are there, obviously. But I am on a mission to get what I need done, or if I'm with a group of friends, or if I'm with my husband or whatever, I'm with that person, I'm with my friends, I'm with whatever. There's nobody else out there. Even though I see them, those people are not important to me. I'm not observing them unless we're actively people watching, because that is one of our favorite things to do. But I'm saying on the day-to-day. I probably come across as stuck up or snobby, but realistically, it's that I've been through so much shit in my life that I have a zero shit tolerance. I'm not gonna put up with you and your manipulation, and I will walk on you to make sure, if I have to. I don't want to, but if I have to, I will walk on you to teach you a lesson, because I feel like it is my God-given right on this earth to be the karma police, because I truly believe people need to learn a lesson and be treated in such that they, like, I want to treat people the way they treat me, but if it's like so bad, I just want to teach them a lesson, and sometimes that's just cutting people off and moving on. So this is getting long-winded, but I really felt the need to get on here and share this with you. This journey is, again, very personal for me, so I would appreciate you guys being understanding and not a piece of shit and judging me. But if that is the case, that's fine. You can feel how you are. Of course, you can feel however you want to feel, but I hope that this journey can help at least one other person on this planet, and if that is the case, then I'm really happy to do so. So I love you guys. Treat yourselves well. Encourage your friends. Check on your friends. Love your family. Do what you need to do to have a better outlook on life, because this life is short. This life is beautiful. You could get hit by a bus tomorrow. You could die of cancer. You could literally die in your sleep, or somebody you love, or whatever. You don't know when the next time you're going to talk to them. Tell them how you feel. You know, let go of the feelings that you need to let go of, however that is, if it's through hypnosis, if it's through therapy, if it's whatever it is to make yourself better, do it, because you can't be a better person for other people unless you're whole yourself. So really focus on that. And I'm a work in progress. I'm definitely not perfect by any means, clearly. I think we all know that, but I'm trying to be better, and I'm really excited to be on this hypnosis journey, to let go of those feelings, because I really think they're holding me back from a better quality of life. And hopefully my anxiety gets better, you guys, because some days it's hard to even feel like peaceful or calm, and it's a journey that needs to be done. So I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next one.